Hi everybody, this is your friend, your good friend, maybe your best friend, Jeremy Siskind, and I'm the author of the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series. I'm the author of Playing Solo Jazz Piano, and I'm the author, oh boy, that was a loud sound, of Solo Standards for Piano. This has not been my most graceful intro, but I hope that you will forgive me. Today I want to introduce you to a little reharmonization game, and we're going to talk about some ways that we can win this game, and hopefully it will give you a greater understanding of harmonization. So when I think of reharmonization, principally I think about targeting, and there's a whole chapter, a big chapter on targeting, on reharmonizing using targeting. And what that means is that I have my destination chord, which is usually a chord from the piece, and then I have a bunch of devices that I know in order to target that chord, and I can kind of mix and match devices. So I want to review, or maybe it's not a review, maybe it's new, some of these crucial devices. And then what I've set up here is this little game where I chose A flat major 7 just as a goal chord. That's going to be our target chord, and we're going to figure out different ways that we could target that chord in 4 steps. Okay, so we're going to do at least 4 different methods where we could target A flat major 7, but probably more than that. So let's go over to this next sheet of paper, and let's talk about some of the traditional ways that we can target a chord. So let's say we've got chord X. We're going to do this like algebra, because everybody loves algebra. So the first thing that we could do is what I call tonicization, which means that we're going to add the dominant 7th of X. So for instance, a G7 leading to any kind of a C chord, C major, C minor, C dominant, C half diminished, we can add a G7 based on this rule of tonicization. And when we do tonicization, we might, let's see, I'm trying to decide which direction to go. This is starting to branch off already. We might do the tritone sub of the tonicization, right? Tritone sub means that we can always exchange a dominant chord for another dominant chord a tritone away. So we'll do D flat 7 then, leading to C. And the way that this works out is this is always the flat 2 dominant 7th of X, leading to X. Now, whenever we have a 5 chord, we can add the 2 to that 5. Imagine that 5 chord is part of a 2-5-1. So what's cool about this is that if we're leading to C, we could do D minor 7 to G7 to C. So this is the 2 associated with that 5. If we're doing our tritone sub, then we're going to use the 2 associated with the D flat, and we're going to do A flat minor 7 to D flat 7 to C. Pretty nifty, right? Let me play these for you. This is a music thing after all, I think, not like math. Okay, that's a 2-5-1. You've heard that before. Or I call that a tritone 2-5, because it's a 2-5 using that tritone sub. Okay, so we can add the 2 to the 5. We can also do various kinds of side steps. Side steps means that we're moving things by a half step in order to target them. So let's say we're moving towards C major. We could use D flat major or B major as side steps. Now, where this really gets fun, right? And so side steps are always going to just exactly move the shape of the target chord. So if we're moving towards C minor, can you guys tell I just had a bunch of coffee? I feel like it's really evident. Then we would use D flat minor or B minor. Or, right? Now, as I was saying, where this really gets fun is that we can take these progressions here, and we can do a side step 2-5. Side step 2-5s are generally going to be from above in my experience. I don't know that it's impossible to do it from below. But what I mean by a side step 2-5 is that we're going to take this whole progression and we're going to do a side step of that. So we're going to do E flat minor 7, A flat 7, step down, D minor 7, G7, and then C major. Okay. Or we can take our tritone 2-5, and we could take that whole progression and do it a half step up. So there's certainly other things we could do. We could do a backdoor 2-5. We could come up with other stuff. We could do some kind of fancy culturing thing. But let's just work with these tools for now. So let's review the tools quickly. Good old tonicization, doing the 5-7 of whatever we're targeting. The tonicization plus the tritone sub, basically doing the flat 2 of whatever we're targeting. We can always add a 2 to a dominant chord. We could do side steps to our target, or we could do 2 chord side steps using a side step 2-5. So now if we come back to our game, we're going to do a lot of moving to A flat major 7 in multiple steps. So I'm always going to go for 4 steps. And when we're targeting, we want to work backwards. Okay. So let's start with just doing a chain of tonicizations. Okay. So E flat 7 is the tonicization of that. B flat 7. And you'll notice we're going through the circle of fifths here. F7, C7. Totally lovely. Or we do the chain of tritone 2-5. The chain of tonicization plus tritone. And every other chord, this is going to end up the same. And we'll end up starting at the same place. Okay, so now I'm going down in dominant chords in half steps. And we could like mix, like check it out. We could do A7 and then E7, right? E is now the regular tonicization. And then I could do the F7 and G flat 7. But if you look down each of these columns, these are each just tritone subs of one another. So it like, in jazz, we really conflate dominant chords with their tritone subs. These are kind of just different versions of the same progression, or you could think of them as different inversions. Now, just for argument's sake, let's look at side steps, because I know some people are looking at that second line here, and you're thinking, well, those are basically like side steps. They're basically like side steps, but side steps would be all using the sonority, meaning major, minor, dominant, of the target chord. So side steps, we do. So nice, right? Or we could go the other way. G, G flat, F, E. Ooh. Very bright, right? Very sparkly. All right. So now what I want to do is start mixing some of these devices so we can see how many different ways we might realistically move through this progression. So let's take A major 7. That's a side step to our target chord. And then now let's do a tonicization of that A major 7. So we got E7 leads to A major 7. And let's add a 2 to that E7, so B minor, E7, that's a 2-5. And then let's go ahead and, I don't know, let's put in a side step. C minor leads to B minor, E7, A major. Pretty nice, I think. And let's see, we don't have a lot of room here, but let's take, we'll do A7, E minor 7, and then let's do the tritone 2-5 of that, so we get F minor 7, B flat 7. Pretty nice. All right, what else could we combine? So let's see what happens if we do these 2 ascending side steps. And then let's do a 5, let's do 2 tonicizations into that. Is that right? So this is kind of interesting. We start on A flat 7, we end up on A flat major. Let's see how it sounds. That's kind of cool. I dig it. Or let's see. Let's take just that G major, D7. We're going to add A minor, the 2 of that. And then let's go up by a half step into the A minor. So now that's a side step. A little less traditional, right? Usually going down with these side steps is going to feel a little bit more traditional. And so, by the way, you know, since we've been limited to 4 chords, we haven't done that many crazy tritone or crazy side step 2-5s. But let's just say we were not limited. We could do multiple. Am I doing this right? I think I am. Side step 2-5s. So I think this is a fun game. This looks like the ravings of a lunatic, and they might well be. They might well be. So this is a good way to figure out how these different essential reharmonization techniques work. Of course, as we're doing this, we're not thinking about a melody, a tune. We're not particularly thinking about rhythm, although if you're doing 4 chords, it's not hard to see how that would apply to 4 quarter notes in a measure or 4 eighth notes. So not all of these are always going to work with a melody. But as you can see, there are enough different options here that, especially if you change the harmonic rhythm, like how fast each chord is going, you're going to be able to accommodate just about any melody with this style of reharmonizing. So I hope this was a helpful video for you. If you want to see this all really laid out clearly in book form, chapter 16 of Playing Solo Jazz Piano, I think I know that off the top of my head. I think it's right. Chapter 16, is all about reharmonizing. It gives a lot of examples. The type is much better than my handwriting. Shout out to my designer, Kelly, who's awesome. She's the one who makes all of these books look great. That's the video for today. Check out Playing Solo Jazz Piano, available at jeremysiskind.com. And if you've watched to the end, say something nice about Kelly. She deserves it. She's awesome. See y'all later.